Alrighty then, here we go. So, hello there YouTube. My name's Lance. I'm just starting the channel here, and I've been thinking about doing it for a while, about basically giving my personal insight and perspectives on different topics throughout the course of life and across the spectrum of interests, which will be dictated by my own interests and the demand of my subscribers. So please, put this up front, like, share, and subscribe so that we can get this out there. But the majority of my content right now, as I get into my first videos, is going to be majority dominated by Myers-Briggs type indicator talks. And basically, I don't even like to term it that way. Actually, I'm going to say that it's going to be about Jungian depth psychology, which is what the theory behind the Myers-Briggs is actually based upon. So, to start with, I'm an ENTP in the Myers-Briggs system, and what that basically means for me is that I am a person that prefers extroversion, intuition, thinking, and feeling, or a perception, versus the other modes of perception and judgment and orientation of energy gathering and structure, preference. That's what those are all basically telling you. So the E or the I in the system gives you your direction that your consciousness likes to face in your mind, basically. As a bare example, me, I'm an extrovert, so I look outward. When I'm looking for solutions, I look outside myself, I look into my environment. I do look to myself to order and organize and evaluate solutions, but the information I'm gathering is from the outside. That's how I'm an extrovert. So I lead with a perception function in the Jungian depth psychology system, which it's basically 8 different functions which we all use to differing degrees with different amounts of value and kinds of stress associated with them, depending on where they are. And so your first 4 are conscious, and my first out of my conscious functions is going to be a extroverted perceiving function, just extroverted intuition, actually. And that is a difficult function to describe, even now, after I've studied it for quite a while. So I'll do my best by saying in short form that it is essentially like advanced pattern recognition. It is association, creation, meanings are what jump out to you about things, not the details. You, as an extroverted intuition user, you would be someone who is probably prone to forget small, minute details or mundane things that are required of you in lieu of much bigger, grander ideas or things that you are pursuing or thinking about, which are going to catch your attention and keep it there. So it's a bit of a struggle, not gonna lie, but it also makes me really highly creative and extremely good at improvisation, because there's nothing better to improvise with than just being able to create some random association that can start off a conversation that can create a friendship out of nothing. So, but it kind of, there's a downside to it, because it's inverse, or opposite, I should say. There's introverted sensing, and that is the function dealing with responsibility, awareness of the body, awareness of the self in time, your memories, your duties, responsibilities, obligations, commitments, those kinds of things, your personal impressions of your experiences. That is the opposite of extroverted intuition, and sort of the bedrock on which it sits, but psychologically it is suppressed for me by virtue of my extroverted intuition being the focus of my consciousness. So because of that, I'm really considered usually irresponsible, because I can't even adapt my sense of duty and my ability to perceive those things, or my connection to my body, on more than like a very basic level that doesn't really come up to me as important very often. It is a conscious sense of lack of discipline, is how I experience it. And strangely enough, that's actually what motivates me to action. It's weird. It's not societally beneficial right now in this American society, but I am disciplined, but only in the things that I am forced to be disciplined about. Paying my rent, that kind of thing. Making sure I eat. Taking care of my body so it doesn't break down. Those things I will do down to the bare minimum, but I will do them because I am aware of how averse I am to doing them. So that's the first function versus the last function in my type. And then I also have my second function is introverted thinking, which is a internal logical judgment process. It deals with categorization, logical association, conditionalities, those kinds of things. Basically, objective-oriented, non-emotional value judgments. It's all about what's true, what's accurate, and what's fair, and making sure that honesty is used to keep all the information everyone is working with accurate and updated. I've been accused more than once of oversharing quite a bit, and I do, but that's because I like to represent myself very accurately, highly accurately. I don't want any misrepresentation in the way that people see me or what I say. But that actually ends up causing problems because, as they say, people don't like to hear the truth, and so my application of it so heavy-handedly with the way that my mind is arranged, it gets me in trouble more often than not because I will favor telling you the truth over not telling you in order to not make you mad or upset or possibly upset with another person or cause a situation, because I find it more valuable that you know the truth and that you have the proper information to work with than it is to maintain the social order, which is my third function, my extroverted feeling. That's relief for me. So like your first two functions are going to be your dominant and your tertiary and your secondary are going to be pretty much adult level, fully functioning cognition, and then it just goes downhill from there in consciousness and in strength of the function itself. So my third function is less consciously valued than my introverted thinking, and it's the opposite of it. My extroverted feeling, which is called harmony. It's dealing with linkage and connection between people, getting people's needs met, making sure the group is taken care of, and that everybody gets along and is happy. So for me, that's expressed in a childlike level of development, about call it 10, 11 years old. And so it causes me to be really charming, friendly. I can commonly read people's emotions and body language. I understand and I'm very good at maintaining people's impressions of me over time, but that doesn't give me the value of their emotions over important information that I feel needs to be shared in order for things to remain logically consistent. Not that I necessarily go spewing out everything that I know to everybody or anything, but if someone is going to make what I see as a wrong decision based upon information that I could correct, even if that information might hurt them, I am going to give it to them so that they have a good idea of what they're dealing with. But that's just how it seems to me with my particular methods of cognition. So again, those are my four functions. The suppressed function functions at about a 3-year-old level, so that's actually not even that competent. I can't even adapt it to social norms or anything outside of personal experience. It's really rough. It causes a lack of action orientation because I'm more oriented towards the ideas and the concepts, and like a good idea will catch my attention and keep it far better than a good experience or beneficial experience. Those things just don't matter as much to me as exploring, working out, and understanding a concept that seems absolutely novel and interesting to me at that time. But then once I know and understand it with my introverted logic, introverted thinking, it's going to immediately become boring because it passes into my introverted sensing. It's now in my memory. I know it all, in its entirety, enough for me to understand it and how it works as a system, and then it's entered into my memory, and then it's no longer valued. So extroverted intuition has this effect of causing a little bit of a bounciness. Like I said, this channel is going to go all over the place right now. I'm really stuck on this Myers-Briggs stuff because I really believe it matters that people know this stuff and how people's inward interpretations of the world really differ. Mine included, but for other people as well. I've seen too many disagreements over things that were simply explained away by showing people that they're talking about the same thing from two different sides. So, moving forward, I'm not going to make this video too long, but I'm going to start by breaking down my 4 functions, just because, I love my functions, really, if I got to be honest. But just because it's easier for me to understand them implicitly, and therefore to explain them. And so I'll be able to formulate that a little bit faster. So that'll be, in my next video, is probably going to be specifically on extroverted intuition. Then I'll go on to the introverted thinking, the extroverted feeling, and then introverted sensing. After that, I will explain about the unconscious and explain my 4 shadow functions and what they're about and how they affect me. And then, once we're done deconstructing my type, from my perspective, just so I can give you the best perspective definitions that I have on these functions themselves, and not just the definitions that I've learned from others, but what I've seen in myself and my cognition, knowing what to look for. After I give you that, I'm going to proceed to go through some other types and show you how their function orders totally change their perception of the world and the way that they move about, interact with people, everything. It's really fascinating, and I hope you guys will enjoy and bear with me while I figure out this whole YouTube thing and hopefully get some better lighting. But again, this is Lance. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will be back sometime within a week or so.